I don't know. Really.
Oh, the mascara dripping down Hannah Brown's face. The most emotional season premiere ever, I think, on The Bachelor last night. What do you think?
I mean, some say emotional. I would say the most dramatic ever.
That was coming.
You know what, Peter? Let's relive a bit more of your trauma.
Oh, yeah, all right. Let's do it.
My heart was very confused. I don't know what I did. I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know. Really.
All right, Peter, I have to grill you now. Now, Chris is here. I don't know if he can protect you.
I'm out of this.
Chris, what?
I'm socially good.
He's switching teams right now.
You're on your own.
That's not fair. That's not cool, guys.
We have to ask you about the mascara running down Hannah Brown's face. Peter, did you think that discussion would get as emotional as it did?
Absolutely not. That wasn't even supposed to happen, that whole discussion. That was...
What do you mean?
So I knew that the only thing I knew about that date was that she was hosting it, and yeah, I was taking a chance. That could have been awkward, it obviously was, but we were actually supposed to have a date, and it was supposed to be the talks, and then we were gonna have an audience come in, and then I heard that, she was having a tough time. I went to go check on her, and then that whole discussion transpired, and you guys saw what happened, but that was never planned. That was all real.
So you were surprised.
Sure. Yeah, no, Hannah was supposed to just it was supposed to be fun. And we're just like, oh, let's bring her back, and it'll kind of shock everybody, but let's just send Peter on his way. And then it obviously dissolved into what I would say was one of the most riveting, raw conversations we've had in a long time.
You said that you wished that Hannah had asked you out during her finale instead of Tyler Cameron. And you said, I wish that things had worked out between us. So how do you go into a season of The Bachelor saying that you wish things had worked out with Hannah?
I said that, and I meant it. And I was obviously hurt when that didn't happen, but I did my best to try to, move on and put that behind me. And when I was offered the opportunity to be The Bachelor, I was obviously so stoked for it. And I took it because I truly felt like I was ready, and I had moved on as much as I could, and I wasn't gonna let that be a distraction moving forward. What you saw there was just feelings kind of resurfacing, and it was real. And I felt obviously horrible doing that to the women that were there on the date, and just kind of out of respect for them, but I had to be true to myself, and I was, and everything I said, I meant, and it is what it is.
So what if she had asked you out?
It's weird to say, but it's weird to say. If she would have, I would have said yes, and I probably wouldn't have been The Bachelor.
Who knows?
Would you and Hannah be together right now?
I mean, you never know. The world may never know now. It is what it is. But that didn't happen, and you guys will see what happens, in the next episode with us, with that conversation, where our relationship maybe goes for the rest of the season. But can't live in the past. It is what it is, and I have no hard feelings for her. I know she was always following her heart and doing the best she could, and I'm okay with that.
So what are you thinking as you're watching this play out? Did you think Hannah was about to join his season as a contestant?
Well, I don't know. I'll answer that with a question of, do you agree it was a conversation that needed to be had?
Absolutely.
Clearly, there was something between you two that needed to be resolved.
Absolutely, yeah. The last time I had seen her, other than the first night, was AFR. On stage there, and it was great to talk to her, but that was really the first kind of raw conversation, just to kind of get that possibly closure. Who knows? You'll see what happens. But
well, Hannah justified her asking Tyler out, saying Tyler was reaching out to her. What did that mean? Did that mean Tyler's DMing Hannah, texting with Hannah, and had you stayed silent?
Yeah, honestly, I had not messaged her at all. There was zero communication between the two of us. That's just what I decided to do. And, when I wanted to have, obviously, an authentic talk with her on stage there, seeing her, I knew it was going to be tough, but that's what we did, and there was no communication.
So when you're sitting there and Hannah's dripping in tears and you're having these feelings, you looked like you were about to cry at some points. Did you think about walking away from the whole thing?
Yeah, yeah, I honestly, you guys will see what's said, but I definitely considered in that moment. I know that sounds absolutely crazy and insane, but again, I told everyone, and I don't think they ever expected me to kind of display it to that magnitude, but I told everyone from the very beginning. I was gonna be raw, be myself, you know, do what I had to do, and in that moment, I consider it.
Nobody knows how hard it is to be the Bachelor, Bachelorette until you're actually in those shoes.
No.
And we always say it's going to be an emotional ride, but I'm guessing you never realized how this will strip you down.
Oh my God, I had no idea. Like, it was the most beautiful experience of my life, but the absolute hardest in so many different ways.
Are you telling me that next week we're going to see you say, I might want to walk away from being the Bachelor?
Tune in next week to find out.
So okay, producer, what's going through your mind as you guys are in the control room? Are you thinking, are we about to lose our show?
You have to understand, like, yes, I keep saying it, but I was being true to myself. That's why I don't feel that bad about it. I didn't necessarily have insane relationships at that point.
Right.
Feelings hadn't really formed. It was so early on. So I give myself kind of a hall pass in that regard of why I allowed myself to feel what I felt, because I knew I had an amazing group, but I was just getting to know them.
Well, you're comparing apples and oranges. You have a relationship with Hannah at this point.
Yeah.
You have something that's clearly lingering. One of the most difficult things about The Bachelor and Bachelorette is when the show is over, typically the relationship will move on. The people that are broken up with, you really don't get that closure. You see them at AFR, and you don't get that talk. So this was that talk that kind of needed to happen.
Absolutely needed that.
Were you in love with Hannah during what we saw last night?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, yeah.
So when you started the show, you were still in love with her?
I thought I was in a really good spot. I promise you I did. I would not have done this, I swear to God, if I didn't think I was ready to absolutely move on. But I always said it. I mean, I remember saying it at AFR. She's always gonna hold a special place in my heart. It was a very amazing relationship that we had, and I don't know if you completely ever lose that for someone 100%. And I think you guys saw, yeah, a lot of that resurfaced. And it was very real.
And this is why when people say, why was Peter the Bachelor? This is why. What you see is what you get. He is 100% raw, honest, and if you think this was dramatic, just wait till you see where the season goes.
Well, have you and Hannah talked? Did you text it all last night as this episode was playing?
Yeah, just like really good support, and she's been amazing. You know, she's a huge fan of mine. I'm a huge fan of hers, and I always will be. And
well, she said something on Instagram or Twitter. She said something on social media like, enjoy the ride. She made it sound like you guys are not together.
you guys gotta tune in.
I just don't know if she'd be saying enjoy the ride to the guy she's dating.
Well,
that's how it felt.
Throwing you guys off.
It depends on what you mean by ride.
Also, maybe the dirtiest premiere we've ever had last night,
Oh,
if I may
man.
say so myself. All right, well, what about Hannah being the Bachelorette again? This is something fans are calling for. How would you feel about it?
Okay, so let's pretend that, yeah, we're actually done. I would want, she's an amazing girl, and unfortunately everyone saw, you know, what happened with her relationship, and that's unfortunate for everyone involved. She deserves it more than anyone. And
Is that a real possibility, Chris Harrison?
I have no idea. Is
Yes,
that right?
you do.
All options are open. All options are on the table. We'll see what Bachelor Nation thinks.
Okay. Let's see what you think, Bachelor
Everyone loves
Nation. Have you talked to Tyler about last night after his name got brought up?
I have not talked to him specifically about that. We chatted in the earlier on in the day, and he was just wishing me good luck with everything and with it all starting, and he's been awesome.
Word is he was working on his abs.
All right, so let's talk about some of the standout ladies from the premiere. As you mentioned, Hannah always holding a special place in your heart. You gave Hannah Ann your first impression rose, and Peter, you said, and I quote, I have room for 2 Hannahs in my life.
Well, she has.
And I didn't know how to feel about that, Peter.
Why?
I don't know, I feel the guy said that to me. I think your intentions were good.
They were, yeah.
But, I mean, really, when I'm looking back on it, it was almost like you were kind of subconsciously saying you did still have these feelings for Hannah Brown, but maybe you could bring another Hannah in.
Okay, yeah, I can see how you could get that from that. But honestly, just because when she said her name, I loved it, and then she made that comment, like, of course I have room for
Okay,
Hannahs.
so you were just being a little punny.
But the thought, and
Yeah.
I also get the thing of like, wow, could I really date somebody right away with the same name?
Could
The
you?
great thing, it was Hannah Ann, you know? It's not just Hannah, so it's a little bit
She
different.
added, I'm gonna hyphenate my name just to get.
Yeah, it's
Did the
not completely
producers
the same
actually
thing.
give her that? They said maybe go in with your real name.
Right, because
Take that on. Okay, so let's talk about some of your standout ladies. I got a couple
All right.
pictures here for our lady speed round. Madison. Madison gets a huge first one-on-one, meeting your parents off the bat. Does that give her a big emotional advantage going forward? She met your whole family, and they seem to love her.
Yeah, I lucked out with that date like no other, because that could have realistically been a really kind of awkward and uncomfortable date. That's a big thing, introducing you know, the person you're dating to your family on the first date. But she absolutely knocked it out of the park, killed it.
To me, that felt like a date from episode 7.
Yeah,
Had
I
you
know.
guys ever had a family on the premiere like that before? It's because you live locally.
Exactly, yeah, we took advantage.
Here's the issue, and I blame Peter and I blame his amazing family, is that normally wouldn't have been such a big deal, except for Peter's parents are incredible. We do the renewal of the vows, and then it ended up in the concert, and it really, and then the connection with Madison, it really did feel like, wow, is the show over?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It really was, it was a beautiful date.
Yeah.
So is the show over with Madison?
I was flying really high after that date, and she definitely, you know, got off to a really good lead. And
Does
you
she
guys saw
stay
it.
strong in that lead?
You guys will see.
I mean, I think when you start strong, it's big.
Yeah.
Hannah Ann, our different Hannah. We went from Hannah B to Hannah A.
Hannah A.
So she gets the first impression rose.
She does.
And was that weird for you? Were you thinking, am I gonna potentially end up with someone named Hannah at the end of all this?
I really wasn't thinking about that. She stuck out to me so much. I know some people have their opinions, but I love the boldness. I loved her being so intentional and showing me exactly why she was there. And I think it's important to note that she's the sweetest person in the world, right? She was doing it the right way. She wasn't being mean about it or just necessarily disrespectful to any of the women. She's the sweetest person, and it worked, and I appreciate it.
Because some of the
But is a girl that's going to find herself in the middle of a lot.
Oh, how
Yeah.
so?
She's sweet, but
She's sweet, but the fans were
trouble seems to find her.
really. What do you
Yeah.
say to that?
No, it does. There are some gates that ensue.
Do you jump over any of them?
Not that kind of
Style?
gate.
Okay.
Not that kind of gate. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I can't do it anymore.
You can't. You're tired of running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fans were critiquing her a little bit last night. Sounds like you're defending her.
Yeah, I am. I mean, like I said, I gave her the first impression rose for a reason, and she made a huge impression, and I loved it.
By the
That
way,
always does put a target on people's back.
I get that, yeah.
Hannah, named Hannah, Madison from Alabama.
I know. Maybe I do have a type.
I think you have a type, or you were in some kind of Stockholm syndrome kind of a thing. I don't know. I mean, was Hannah Brown on your mind night one? Even before she got there?
No, she really wasn't. We had a brief talk before everyone showed up, and I really, you know, I was ready to fully move on officially.
Okay.
And until she came out of that limo, I wasn't thinking about her.
Did you discuss with Hannah Ann on night one that she also currently lived at home? Did that connect you to it all?
You know, I don't think that actually came up that first night. We definitely talked a lot about her relationship with her family, which is huge for me, but we didn't actually talk about her living at home.
What's it like going from living at home with your parents to suddenly being away traveling for the show? Like, did you miss mom and dad?
Of course I missed them, yeah. But it was cool. You guys will see, like, they come on a lot, and I get to talk to them a lot.
They're only a mile away from the mansion.
They weren't too far at all. I literally, literally a mile.
Are you still living at home right now?
Yeah, I am.
Will you be moving out?
Yes. Either way, yes.
Because you ended up with someone?
Either way, yes.
No, he's moving into my place. We're
gonna be
roommates.
You do live 5 minutes from
Yeah.
each other.
This is very true.
Okay. Do you run into each other at the gym? What's happening?
We run into each other around town. Yeah.
it's pretty
Run into
cool.
his mom now. It's great.
You know, I met Chris 10 years ago at the movie theater. It was the very first time. I
You
know.
remember that?
He doesn't remember it, but
I'm far too big to remember that.
Were you thinking in that moment, I'm going to be in that mansion with him one day?
I had no idea. No idea. So it's very surreal for me. It's pretty
Really?
cool.
Your mom seems very proud. She posted a childhood photo of you and said, the little boy who grew up to be the Bachelor.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Was this
Yeah.
but did your parents ever think this really could happen for you? Was this discussed in your house?
I mean, I will say my mom is the reason I ever, I went in for an audition when I was like 22, a long time ago for the first time for The Bachelor. Never heard anything, but she's the reason I ever kind of started this, so.
She's
I guess
a fan.
I owe her. Oh yeah, she's been a fan.
But you have to
since season
understand
one.
too, we've never done this before. Like having Hannah come in from Alabama, you know about the mansion, it's on TV. He's lived in the shadow of the mansion literally his entire life. He drives by it 1,000 times going to and from the beach and around our neighborhood where we're already shooting. So it's really interesting to do it with a guy who has actually grown up around the mansion. It's been a different thing.
It was cool, and I realized the other day, I'm like, Colton actually wasn't the first Bachelor to hop the fence, because I remember when I was like 18 or 19, I tried hopping the fence to get on the mansion.
That's
It
called
got caught.
trespassing.
I know.
That's illegal.
I know.
And you just
But I could
admitted
say,
to it
"I
on
wanna do
camera.
that."
Let's talk about Victoria F., who Chris Harrison, you told us, is the villain.
She's not the villain. Trouble will find her as well, I'll say that.
Will her and Hannah Ann butt heads? Because it sounds like they both get in the middle of some stuff. I'm just predicting
Specifically the two
story
of them.
No?
I don't think the two of them, but listen, I'm a big fan of Victoria.
You were not a big fan of her intro line because you forgot that she said it.
Oh, I know. That was so bad. I felt horrible about that.
Was that the dirtiest intro we've ever had on the show?
I don't know how I forgot that. Like,
I don't either.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, there was the Chris Soules Plow Your Field.
Caitlin Bristow, famously.
Yeah, and I think.
I remember a Jake Pavelka landing strip.
Look
yeah.
at this memory, your fellow pilot.
But I
actually.
feel like that went to an 11. Because
That
it
kind of-
wasn't subtle. That's
No.
the thing. Usually it's like plow your field. Okay, there was nothing subtle about this.
Nothing.
This
We-
was
But-
really.
We also had
That's
a
Victoria.
pussycat joke last night. Was this the
Hairless,
dirtiest
yes.
premiere ever?
Yes.
It's pretty dirty.
Yeah.
We had 4 times. I don't know how many times you could have said 4 times.
So many
The
references
guy was
to it.
making out with people in the driveway. He didn't get in the house. So
That wasn't my doing, okay?
if the
that was,
shoe fits,
So you're dubbing it. You're giving it the title.
yeah.
Say it for me.
Yeah,
right.
move over, Bob Getty.
Let's own it.
Pete the pilot is taking off.
Take it over. All right. It is what it is.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So you didn't remember her. You didn't remember her sexy joke.
Yeah.
That surprised me because Peter, I know that you consider yourself kind of a private person, but the windmill is a huge part of who you've become to the fans.
It is,
And I told everybody at home, don't drink 4 times every time they say 4 times last night.
It'll be a rough night.
How much does sexual chemistry, how much does chemistry play a part in how things go for you?
Yeah, it's a huge part. For me, sexual chemistry is very important in a relationship. Obviously, what's come out with the windmill and just my history about that, it's the public knows. But
Yeah.
it's a good thing I'm not uncomfortable talking about it, you know?
How did Mom and Dad feel about the windmill's prevalence in your premiere?
They're good sports about it. They laugh it off.
Okay.
Mom was
It's
proud,
okay.
by the way.
You guys remember that?
When we were at After the Final Rose, of all the people that should have been shocked, it wasn't Mom. She was pretty proud of her
Laugh
baby
on
boy.
it.
Last one here, Kelly,
Yeah,
the
Kelly.
lawyer. You'd met her before.
Yeah.
Here locally, ran into her at a restaurant for a wedding.
Yep.
So
and it ended up being at where we ended up having our group date after.
It was at a hotel, in a hotel lobby.
Yes.
Yeah.
is Kelly gonna make it far with you guys having that history?
I mean, for sure, I can say going into this, I'm thinking, is this some type of fate? Like, why did this happen? And didn't know if she was actually going to show up that first night. And she was the last one before Hannah Brown showed up. So it was a pleasant surprise. And
Well, when things are coming at you so fast that first night, to have chemistry with somebody already, was
Yeah.
that a little bit of a life preserver and felt comfortable?
I remember that conversation. We went out to the front step, and it just felt so good just because I kind of already knew her. We had spent, like an hour talking when I first met her the first time, and it just felt really comfortable and easy, and there was good chemistry. We got along well.
I predict the women will come after her for that.
Yeah.
You cut all the flight attendants.
I know.
And your parents ended up together, a pilot and a flight attendant. You ruined that possible sequel in the family.
I know. I honestly, I felt so bad about that. I feel like I let my parents down a little bit, but hey, I loved, like, they were great girls and their entrances were awesome, but.
All right, I got a couple more questions for you. First, I want to play a little celebrity moment. Charlize Theron, she posted about you. What was your reaction when you saw that Charlize Theron?
I was shocked. I'm a huge fan of hers. That was so cool when she did that. And I remember we were in New York and I was walking with my family because we were there for the New Year's Eve thing. And I see her billboard. I'm like, boom. I gotta get a
Great
picture
response,
right now.
by the way.
It was
Great
fantastic.
response.
Phenomenal response.
I interviewed her at the Palm Springs International Film Festival, asked her about it. She got a little red in the face.
Did she?
Let's take a look at what she had to say.
Okay.
I do have to ask you, though, about a different passion of yours. That Pilot Pete Instagram, Charlize, what drove you to post about The Bachelor? Is it your love for the show or Peter himself?
No, I love the show. Look, he's like half my age. Not that that should matter, but no, he's great. I'm super excited. I love the show. I've missed it. And I'm just so glad that the show premieres in the winter when it's dark early, because my kids don't know what time I send them to bed, but it's like 5:45 as soon as it's dark.
He posted back with one of your ads. Did he try to slide into the DMs?
No. I don't even know really what a DM is. Let's be honest. Maybe he has. I don't think so.
Did you?
I did not.
First
I set
of
the
all,
record straight.
not buying it, Charlize. She knows what a DM is.
She definitely does.
Second of all,
How do you know she knows what a DM is?
let's
Wait a minute.
look.
Wait a minute.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little jealous of Peter in this point here, but Peter,
Yeah.
not saying how the show ends.
Yes.
Would you stop everything if you could you get a date with Charlize Theron?
I mean, I wouldn't put anything past me. You saw what happened with Hannah Brown, so I'll leave it at that.
Oh, wow. Peter. Peter. All right, well,
right.
if you end up with someone, I hope she's not watching this.
Or maybe he's already with Charlize, and that's how the show ends.
You know, I looked, I didn't think, I think when I checked, you guys actually both were not following each other on Instagram. I did a social
Well, because
media
you can't
dive.
be that obvious.
Right. Yeah, I think I need to follow her. I don't even know if I'm following her yet. Yeah.
You should follow her.
I gotta get
You
on
your
that.
phone out. Yeah.
Okay.
Get on that. Okay.
right.
Step 1 into sliding into the DMs.
Yes.
Right.
Which
No,
it sounds
I'm
like
just-
you already have done.
Well, step 1 is go to Stagecoach. Step 2,
Oh boy.
I mean, these questions do come up. You know, we've had Wells Adams has ended up with an actress. Tyler Cameron dated a supermodel. Jennifer Aniston, also a big fan. She's
Is she?
single.
Okay.
What about what?
You guys are gonna get me in trouble. Like this is all good fun. I just like to joke with it, but I need to set that record straight. This is all.
but I will say, I wasn't sure who came up with the response. I was thinking maybe a producer was with you at the time when you, that response was great.
Liked
On it.
it,
Yeah, I mean, that was really good.
No, that was cool. I had to.
By the way, Charlize, thanks for watching the show. Thanks for
Yeah,
being a part of
Charlize.
Bachelor Nation.
Big fan. Let's talk about how things do end up because you have said that this is. Oh, you don't know, right? You don't know how it ends up.
No idea.
You said that this is going to be the first ending in a while that will not be spoiled, that won't get out on some of the blogs. Why'd you say that? Why do you feel that confident?
There's just a reason, a specific reason. Obviously, I can't say it, but that I feel like this is a little bit unique of an ending. It is a unique ending for sure. I couldn't have predicted this, and that last week was the hardest week of my entire life. Chris can tell you, absolute hardest week of my life.
We saw in the beginning of the premiere, even before we get into it, you tease to the ending, and you say, "We just found something out." What did the production team just find out?
Yeah, you know, going back to the Hannah conversation and being so riveting and being one of the most gut-wrenching moments, this season will take you on a roller coaster ride like none other. And right up until the end, when Peter and I sit down and have to have a very tough heart-to-heart, actually a couple of them that final week, it really is unlike any season we've ever had before. And I'm not saying that just to kind of pump the season up. It's just when you have a Bachelor like Peter, it's a very raw, emotional ride. And the way this ends, no one will see coming. I can say that because we didn't see it coming.
That's perfect.
Even
way
the
to put
crew, the production side was surprised about things.
No, I'm saying Peter and I didn't
Oh.
even know.
Literally,
I mean,
goes to the very
crew,
last
beside the
second.
point, Peter and I going through this together had no idea this was happening and how this was going to all come to an end. So it's riveting, and it really is breathtaking, and it'll break your heart.
There are some people speculating online that we'll also get this big, huge finale, that you'll get engaged in the finale. What do you say to those
Heard that.
predictions?
Has that ever
Or
happened? I don't-
engaged in the live finale.
At the
pardon.
finale at the AFR. That's a good guess. I mean,
Has that ever happened?
I was trying to think.
Testing his knowledge.
you guys, you can't see this coming for a while. So maybe, I don't know.
All right. We see, talking about gut wrenching, we see a clip of your mother, Peter, crying and saying, "You bring her
My mom
home."
cries? What?
It's like watching it's painful to see. Does that moment happen before or after this big reveal?
It's in the last week.
It's in the last
That's
week.
all that last week is insane.
It sounds like
is.
your mom gets really attached to somebody.
You think? Yeah, from that.
He was nominated for a Golden Globe, by the way.
That was,
Yeah, Mom, you know, that's the thing is, again, Peter's so close to his parents. His parents play a big part in this as well. And their emotion and all that is captured. You're going to see it. You're going to see it all play out. And it really is. It'll take your breath away.
Are you engaged right now?
you just never stop with that.
Really? Really, Laura Zima?
You're gonna throw it in
Front of
again
Chris.
there. Like a little throwaway, see what happens.
We talked about this.
I gotta tell you, Madison and Hannah Ann, you seem to have a strong connection with Madison. You really seem to have a strong connection with Kelly. One thing I kept noticing about Hannah Ann is you kept saying her name over and over again. And look, I really like this guy, so I'm always like, well, Chris Harrison and I are going to dinner. And you kept saying, Hannah Ann, thank you, Hannah Ann. And that really stuck out to me, Peter.
Yeah? Yeah, I like that you caught on to that. No, she's an absolute sweetheart, and you guys are going to fall in love with her like no other.
But then she's gonna get into some stuff.
Yeah,
We never
for sure,
know.
for sure,
Okay,
A lot
all
of
right.
Hannahs.
Yeah.
A lot of
A lot
Hannah
of
to
Hannahs.
unpack.
A lot of Hannahs. Does your dad cry?
I think you already saw him cry.
Yeah, he cried in the first
on the
episode.
power renewal ceremony. Yeah,
Yeah.
first one. There is no shortage of emotion at all this entire
He told
entire
me
experience.
he thinks he might cry more than any other Bachelor in the history of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Like probably.
Yeah,
right?
you blow Mesnick away. Colton got a little weepy around some Cassie stuff and all that, but
It was tough. Like it was tough.
All right, well, my last question in all this, look, you guys have delivered so much on the show, and I know the premiere rating's huge. Colton's ending was insane. Hannah's ending was insane. How does Peter's ending stack up to what we've seen the past few seasons?
It's not comparable because it's completely unlike those stories, the way it unfolds. Even Colton and Hannah's seasons were completely different. This will stand alone and be epic for a completely different reason. It's not for an athletic event or feat, and it's not for the topsy-turvy twists and turns that was Hannah. His is more of an emotional ride and roller coaster at the end.
Okay. And how you doing now?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I really am. I'm happy.
Because you don't look well.
I don't? Don't say that. No, it's crazy, like just reliving this now and watching that first episode, and it's coming back now. And so the feels are obviously coming back, and it was the most beautiful thing though. Most beautiful experience of my life, and I'm excited for everyone.
I talked to him last night, Inside Baseball. We were texting back and forth, and I told him, once the show starts, it really does change again. Because you've lived through this, but who gets to and who has to sit back and watch everything unfold, the most raw, brutal moments of your love life? It's not easy to do. So we've tried to prepare him for this.
Yeah, it's not, but again, that's also, there's a good side of that, and that's one of the reasons I was so excited to do The Bachelor, was to have that opportunity to have my story, you know, kind of forever, and recorded and documented, and I'm a lucky guy.
Are you in a relationship right now?
Oh, Lord.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have here on Entertainment Tonight. We'll be right back.